Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I talk about it. This week's game is The Black Death, a Tragical Dirge from 2002, and it's a walking simulator developed by PlayStation Interactive, and I think also published. It's not very clear, not a whole lot of information to go on about this game, and also will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know. But first, a little backstory. This game literally cost $1, and it looked good, but appearances can be deceiving in this case. So I played another game from this studio before called the Space Explorer Red Planet. So this game studio has about 10 games out right now currently. So as you start up the game, you arrive in a foggy town called Clayton, and it's during the bubonic plague. So you are there to find out answers, and the story is narrated as you go along and explore. It's a very atmospherical game, and you get some points, but it has a lot of Unity assets just lifted that are pre-made, and that's just plain lazy, I think. So as the story goes on, the narrator explains the basic plot and what happened before or during the Black Plague. So the objective of the game is to collect 20 things. I think they're like paper notes, and each little paper note is tied to a trophy. So that's all there is. You platinum this game by doing 20 things or finding 20 notes. So on these notes there are different things drawn, like skull, a voodoo doll, some wheat, an eye, a nose, an antidote, a letter, a severed hand, a deer, a gargoyle. So I have no idea how this ties to the Black Plague at all. Maybe the antidote does, finding the antidote, I don't know. So I believe the town of Clayton is in stasis because all the people that are in this town, about 2 or 3, there's like a priest, a witch doctor or a plague doctor, and one more. I think it's an old lady. But they are in stasis for some reason, but the animals like the pigs and I think they're chickens, they actually move. So maybe it's something tied to the animation of the assets. I have no idea. And this town is also full of pumpkins, but not normal pumpkins in that sense. They are carved out jack-o'-lanterns, and it makes no sense to have like 30 to 40 carved jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. It's like, well, they may be celebrating Halloween, but who does that during the fucking bubonic plague? That's just stupid. So the town of Clayton is boxed in by an invisible fence. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in the upcoming section about glitches, but it's sort of like an not endless, but an expanding field, or like a fog effect, so you can't see very far out, but it's clearly that you were never meant to go outside the borders of the town. So gameplay: explore the town of Clayton and collect 20 notes. That's about it. Control: the left stick moves you around, the right stick is camera, and they have the decency to provide the options of switching the y-axis, so you can reverse the camera, tilt up and down, which is nice. And the square button is menu and pause. Graphics. So the graphics looks kind of good. It's mostly lifted assets from other games that are like from free libraries, But there is some texture pop in, and that's something I don't like. When you start up the game, even in the like menu section, you like textures of barrels and lanterns and whatnot, they just pop into existence. There's some loading issues, I guess, but the graphics generally set the mood, and the fog effects is just perfect. There's something about fog that I know they have it, so they hide like their little mistakes and stuff and things they don't need to render. But there's something about fog that I like. Sound and music. Matt Patterson provides the voice of the narrator, and he's actually really good at what he does. He has this nice voice. The problem is Noel Bullock. He was the writer of this game, and there's a lot of filler because, there's only so much you can say about the Black Plague that hasn't been already said. And, it's a lot of fillers, and some parts are actually kind of cringe, like a 13-year-old would have wrote it or written it. But, I can look past that. It's just it's a cheap game, it's $1, so I can't complain that much. I hope that Matt Patterson got really well paid for his part, though. Easter egg, secrets, and glitches. So right at the beginning of the game, you can just turn around and get up on a little hill, or it's not a hill, but a little stack of firewood. You can clip outside the boundaries of the fence so you can wander around. And this is where I spend most of this game, or playing it this week. I was outside exploring, and this game is not like very long at all. You collect the notes and then you're done. No, you get some trophies. I think the last trophy you get is like Sanctuary for collecting all the 20 notes. But anyway, I started to explore, and there's something about that mystical bounce because you're not supposed to be outside. So I started walking in one direction, and I fell through the geometry, and I had to restart the game. But there's something in my brain that triggered, like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. This is a little bit foreboding, if that makes sense. I was like, okay, I'm exploring outside this cheaply made game, and I was like out in the mountainside, clipping through bushes and trees and doing stuff that I was not supposed to do. So I had a little fun with that, but the game itself is not that fun to play, to be honest. In conclusion, I wrote no, unfortunately. So this game was made by 4 guys, and it shows. So there's a lot of lifted assets from other like projects, like free libraries and stuff. There's not even information on the guy who made the soundtrack, and I mean, it might just been lifted from another like public library of sound files or public domain things, I guess. But for $1, it's actually good, but it's not a game that I would like to play ever again. So as I said before, this game is very short. I played it in one setting, and I mean, for $1 it's fine, but I found out like all the stuff that you're not supposed to do are more fun. So just getting outside of the boundaries and falling through geometry, as I said, and clipping through trees and bushes, and I found that more funny than the actual game. But you know, I had fun. I chuckled a little bit, but this is not a game that you should pick up without, even for that little price. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.